Brent, hope you had a great holiday. Merry Christmas, and looking forward to what should be a very exciting new year of college football.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt about that. I was going to say, I'm sure Pops chose the music there just a few minutes ago. I meant to say this the other day, Trav. His being 70 now, in his eyes, that's the new 50, if not the new 40, right, Trav?
And here's some breaking news as it relates to Pops, by the way. If you listen to this program, you know that he has just stiff-armed the prospects of a cell phone ever being in his possession.
Yes.
But I can report that he does now have possession of a cell phone. Now, it's a track phone, so it's I don't know if it's a flip phone. It's actually, we've gotten him to 2005 now.
Good.
We're still not close to 2017 with Pops, but he actually has a cell phone number. So Paradise on Fridays might have a little easier time running down Pops, although there's no guarantee he'll even answer his track phone. He doesn't answer his hardline phone. But, yeah, that is a little bit of breaking news with Pops. As we look to this run of bowl games involving the SEC, Brent, gets underway tonight in what should be an entertaining game, I think, with Missouri and Texas in Houston in the Texas Bowl. What a run here from Missouri down the stretch under head coach Barry Odom. Drew Lock, the quarterback, played outstanding, very productive. I think Missouri is a slight favorite in this game, maybe 3 points, I believe. What do you think? Who do you like in this game?
Well, I like Missouri in this game. I think they've got the better quarterback in it, too, which will help them. Now, Texas will not have Connor Williams. Obviously, their offensive tackle, and Hoyt Hill, their DB, that they're sitting out the bowl game. I'm sure Pops has some opinions on these guys sitting out bowl games, too, but at this point, I think Missouri's playing better. Trav, we thought at the beginning of the year that Barry Odom may not make it past Halloween, but they have really caught fire with Locke, and it's going to be interesting to see if Locke comes back. But at this point, they're just playing better. I think Locke has been doing well with his receivers and overall game. Now, again, if Texas is able to get something going against the Missouri defense, that's going to be a problem. But Texas just needs another year or two under Herman to get his guys there. But I like Missouri in the game.
Yeah, it's far too early to say that Tom Herman's feeling any kind of heat following his first regular season at Texas, but he could definitely use a win in Houston, of all places, tonight. I'm pulling for Poona Ford, the Texas defensive lineman who we know through our family. Great kid. He's a all Big 12 performer, but I'm with you. I think Missouri a little too much. Should be a fun game there in Houston tonight. As we move along, coming up on the 29th up in Charlotte, Texas A&M taking on Wake Forest. Wake Forest, a 3-point pick in this game. Yep. What is your expectation, I guess, specifically for A&M, knowing that Kevin Sumlin is obviously out, Jimbo Fisher is in? What about the quarterback position for A&M in this game? You got any specific thoughts on where they may go with that situation?
By the way, I meant to mention Josh Heupel a few minutes ago, leaving for UCF. That could make a difference for Missouri. But one thing I learned from you in games like this, in A&M and Wake Forest, is who really wants to play in a game like this, and who wants to be in a game like this at this point. And I'll be honest with you, I'm mystified as far as what they may do at quarterback. And Travis, I think that the reality for them is not going to make that much difference on who's going to start as much as it's going to be who is going to be able to end the game. And I think that's as important as anything else. Now, could this be Christian Kirk's last game? Their A&M's defensive end, Xanderkin Henderson, is not going to be able to play after his recent arrest. I would rarely ever do this, but in a game like this. But I think John Wolford in Wake Forest is going to win the game. I think this is kind of the Wolford and Wake. I think they want to be there. I don't think they're anywhere near probably as good as A&M is. Remember that A&M team going in the Alabama game led the SEC in sacks and tackles for loss, and they'll give Wake a lot of trouble. But Trav, do you see I just don't. Do you see much motivation here for A&M at all?
I don't, but you do have a new coach coming into place, and I think that quarterback situation is fascinating between Nick Starkel and Kellen Mond. But I'm with you in terms of the difference in the game. The quarterback no one's going to talk about going into this one on Friday night is John Wolford, who actually hails from the Jacksonville, Florida area. And I'm with you. I expect Wake, because it's a little more together in terms of where it's at as a program, to benefit from that and get the nod over the Aggies coming up on Friday night. Now, as we continue to look ahead, Kentucky and Northwestern up there in the Music City Bowl. That is kind of Kentucky's home away from home, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, when Kentucky goes bowling, it seems like it's pretty much going to be in Nashville.
Yeah, and I understand the weather could be quite frightful up there by the time that one it comes around. I give Pat Fitzgerald some credit. This is their 8th bowl in the last 10 years. So, I mean, he's done a pretty good job for them, and I think they will be ready to play. I'm just kind of concerned for Mark Stoops and this Kentucky team as far as what do they have in the tank. Matter of fact, this is the 5th trip to the Music City Bowl for them as of late. Clayton Thorson's been a decent quarterback for Northwestern this year, and he's got a couple of receivers, and Nagel and Scoring, who have caught nearly 50 passes so far. Now, will the Kentucky linebackers, Denzel Ware and Josh Allen, are they going to be able to play and stop Justin Jackson in this game? I just think at this point, at Northwestern's playing a bit better. They one of the better teams in turnover margin in the league. I mean, I like Benny Snell Jr., and I still think Mark Stoops is doing a good job with this club right now. But they did not end well. As you said a minute ago, Wake was a team against A&M that's kind of got things together a little better, and I think probably Northwestern will be the team that's got things better than Kentucky. It would do wonders for Kentucky, though, to win this game. I heard one of their broadcasters say the other day, I mean, if they won 8 games this year, that'd be the first time or maybe the second in about 40 years that they had done that.
Yeah, Fitzgerald at Northwestern, very interesting because jobs continue to come and go, and we're hearing his name in association with a lot of these openings less and less, and you're starting to think this Northwestern guy is going to be a Northwestern guy throughout his coaching career. Still has a lot under the hood as a coach. And interesting, too, Northwestern a 7.5-point favorite in what should be kind of a home game for Kentucky, you would think, from a fan base standpoint, although coming off a thumping at the hands to Louisville probably won't help those numbers. And again, the repetitiveness with which Kentucky has made that trip to the Music City Bowl at some point probably catches up as well. Now, in Jacksonville, Florida, what we used to call the Gator Bowl is now the Tax Slayer Bowl down there. Mississippi State going to take on Louisville, another coaching transition situation involving an SEC team, this one with Mississippi State. Louisville, is this Lamar Jackson's last game, Brent, as the quarterback of the Cardinals?
Well, it very well could be, and obviously Alabama fans are very interested in that. Well, whether or not he'll be in Orlando next year to open the season. But, Trav, this thing is one of the easier picks for me simply because I may pick State if Nick Fitzgerald was playing, and I do appreciate the job that Todd Grantham, who's coming to Florida, did this year at Mississippi State. But Trav, I don't know if State can score enough points to keep up in this game is the problem, particularly if Jackson is playing well, I know Louisville struggled this year defensively. Although they were in their last three games, they did play much better. But right now, I'm going with Louisville. It's simply as much as anything else. I'm just not sure. I mean, State may be able to move the ball on Louisville's defense, but I'm not sure they can keep up on the scoreboard.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, and I think that Mississippi State's really going to have to lean on that offensive line. They're very good up front offensively. Aris Williams, without Nick Fitzgerald, can he be as effective? It's a lot to ask. This had the potential, as you said, to be a really fun game.
Really did.
If Fitzgerald's able to go with these two quarterbacks. Unfortunately, that's not going to be the case. Louisville just a 7-point favorite, so the betting public at least sort of indicating a closer game than you might think, given the transition in the coaching office at Mississippi State and also the injury to Fitzgerald behind center. But I'm with you. I got to go with Louisville at least heading into this game. Now, New Year's Day, Brent, is going to be all about the SEC, as we know. We'll move through these next couple of games pretty quickly. South Carolina taking on Michigan in the Outback Bowl down in Tampa. The Wolverines an 8-point favorite. This kind of has the feel of a game to me that might struggle to get into the 20s for the winner. It could be a game in the teens, I would think.
Yeah. This is a Don Brown game for me. The Michigan defense coordinator will probably throttle South Carolina. I mean, I give Will a lot of credit for what they've done there this year. But again, I come back to this thing, and I'll make it brief. I just don't, and I hate picking against SEC teams, but I just don't think South Carolina right now, has got enough offense in order to win this game. And although Michigan's really struggling at quarterback, it's going to be really interesting what Shea Patterson does for them this year. I'll go with Michigan, and they need, they need some momentum going into the off season too.
They really do, and I'm with you. Samuel, the injury to him earlier in the season for South Carolina was a devastating blow, both in terms of his playmaking ability as a receiver, really as an all-purpose type guy. You know, when you include the kick return game into that as well, and I expect a game 17-13, something like that. I think South Carolina will represent itself well, but I'm going to pick Michigan right now. Auburn and Central Florida, a game that another one of those that you wonder more so about Auburn's psyche as much as anything else. I think Central Florida has helped some of that, though, with some comments that we've heard from a player or two from the Knights talking a little trash going into this game. But Auburn, a pretty decisive favorite in this game, and I think there'll be points. I feel pretty confident about that. Central Florida can definitely put points on the board. I think Auburn, if Kerryon Johnson is really good to go at the running back position, will be able to do the same.
That's the key to the game to me, and the line of scrimmage. This is a real mismatch on the line of scrimmage. But if Johnson can't go and Auburn's apathetic about the game and they really don't want to play, I could see UCF taking it to the fourth quarter and even winning a shootout. But the reality is, if Auburn wants some redemption and they're motivated, they should be able to win this game by a couple touchdowns.
Yeah, I like Auburn pretty strong in this game against Central Florida. Another game on New Year's Day down in Orlando, Notre Dame LSU, the Tigers, a 3-point favorite right now over the Fighting Irish. I like this matchup. I think of especially the games that don't involve the New Year's Six and the college football playoff has a chance to be a really, really good football game. LSU, again, slightly favored. Brent, who do you like in the game?
Well, I'm going with LSU in the game.
Who's playing in the game for LSU?
I don't like the fact that Arden Key, the best pass rusher, and Corey Thompson, Donnie Alexander are likely out and won't be able to play. But yet, at the same time, I mean, you've got several suspensions for Notre Dame. The most recent was their tight end, Elise Mack, who is out. And I think if Notre Dame could throw the ball, I would feel better about them winning the game. But I could see them being motivated, and Darius Geis will want to play well, and LSU actually being able to throw the ball a little bit down the field. So although Notre Dame can control the clock and win the game, I like LSU in this game.
Moving on to the college football playoff, beginning with the matchup of Georgia and Oklahoma in Pasadena in the Rose Bowl. I like Georgia's balance. I like that their evenness across the board, both sides of the football, and even in special teams. I like, I feel comfortable with their place kicking situation. What do you think here? Georgia, a 2-point favorite as it sits right now, Brent. Is this a game, though, that Baker Mayfield could just take over and get it done in a shootout?
That's what I'm concerned about, and that's what Georgia can't allow to happen defensively. And I think if they can control the ball and control the clock with the running backs and mix it up, the problem is if you let Mayfield get ahead of you by a couple touchdowns, it could be a long day. And I wonder, Trav, is Georgia ready for the biggest stage of all? I mean, this team's been pretty mature, and I give them credit for that. But I think this leadership they've got with Roquan Smith and these guys may be enough. So I do. It'd be very tempting here to pick Oklahoma, but I'll pick Georgia. I think in a close game that they may very well have to win in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, the Atlanta ticket man would love for that to happen.
Lord,
get the Georgia Bulldogs in that national championship game. Wow. Get in ticket prices right now, by the way, for the college football national championship game. The lowest price is in excess of $1,700 a ticket right now. So obviously a lot of people banking on the Dogs getting there.
Absolutely.
And or Alabama or Clemson. In that type of matchup, just be an incredible ticket price. Now, as we wrap up, Alabama-Clemson, obviously the big one around here, the Crimson Tide in its third straight matchup against the Clemson Tigers. Confidence level right now, in your opinion, for this Alabama team, given what we saw from it the last time it took the football field?
Well, it's not very high, to be frank. And to me, I go back to the LSU game, the Mississippi State game, frankly, and my concerns here are it's not just with Hurts getting the ball down the field, it's can Alabama be able to block the Clemson front seven, and also the receivers really struggled in some of these games too. So, I mean, it's just kind of a combination of everything for Alabama on offense. And I think, frankly, Travis, if they're going to win the game, this is a game that they've got to win with their offense at this point. But I'll be frank with you, I have struggled greatly with this, but I'm going with Clemson in the game. I think Clemson is playing better right now, and something that I thought I wouldn't be saying, which is usually what we say about Alabama, is to me the bottom line is can Bama block Clemson, which is very unusual. But after the last three games, I think that question has to be raised.